Okay, so here I'm going to talk about list remove. Now, in your driver, you have to, this is the name of my double linked list house listing. You have to search for an ID, and that list search function returns a pointer to the node that contains that ID. So after that, if the current pointer is null, you should say, your house is not found. Otherwise, you have to call ListRemove and pass in this current pointer. So when you get into ListRemove, you are going to know you're going to have a current pointer pointing to the node you actually want to remove. So I find it helpful to create a pointer to the node in front of the one you want to remove. Right? Here's a picture of this is current. This would be previous. And next, the one after. So let's just talk about some special cases. If the current pointer comes back and is pointing to the first node in the list, you could just call ListRemove start. And this could be if there's one and only node, or if it's the first node of a longer list. So you just call ListRemove start, and hopefully that's been revised to work for a double linked list. All right, the second case is if you're trying to get rid of this guy in the middle. So if you have a previous and a next pointer, then you can just hook up the links. Right? You could say previous arrow next node pointer is assigned the value of next pointer. And this guy, and the tail just happens to be out here, so use this next pointer. Next pointer previous node pointer points to previous, and then you can delete the current pointer. Okay. The tricky case here is if you're at the end. So if you're at the end and you've used this code, the previous is here. The next pointer would be pointing to null at that point. So it would kind of be the same thing. You could get the previous pointer, arrow next node, to point to the next pointer. So that's just going to put a null in here, which is fine. But you need an if statement. If at this point the next node pointer is null, don't do anything with it. So if the next node pointer is not null, you can do this. If it is null, don't do anything. And then delete current. But you got to make sure to update your tail pointer, right? So if this is the case and you're removing the last node in a list, and you would know that if next pointer is null, you're going to have to move the tail pointer. Was there one other thing I was going to say up here? Oh, you would know if there's, if it's the first node. The way to check to see if it's the first node is if the previous pointer after you do this is null, then you know that you have the first node in the list.